Last week on The Joke's on Me.
Everyone's so self-obsessed in comedy, aren't they? Just waiting to be noticed. This is why it's called Joke's on Me.
Anyone going down there would be lying if they didn't hope at some little chance that you could not have to do 9 to 5, and I think that's the impetus.
I don't believe in luck so much as hard work.
Not just comedy clubs, you're doing football clubs, you're doing strip clubs, you're doing weddings, you're doing funerals. You have to sacrifice a lot of things, a lot of time, relationships, things like that.
Comfort, money, a life.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
You think, I'm going to pack this up.
It would have contributed to my marriage breaking up.
Is it worth it? Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm at a stage now where I'm realising the reality of this, of what it is. Even if you do make it in this country, it's not England or it's not the States where there's a longevity of career.
I've had a bloke one time said to me, "Oh, you'll never make it." Like, make it for what? Like, you know, where am I going to make it?
What is making it anyway? I don't even know. I don't think anyone knows anymore.
I mean, Colin Lane is hosting Ready Steady Cook. The guy's a Perrier award-winning comedian. Perrier award winners include the Mighty Boosh and the League of Gentlemen. Colin Lane is hosting Ready Steady Cook, and you cannot tell me that's out of choice. That's out of fucking necessity. He has no choice in the matter. He's taken what he can fucking get. You can chart a comic in this country's decline of success by the size of their ad in the Melbourne Guide. You know, when they're big, it's a full page ad. A few years later, it's a half page, then it's a quarter page, then it's a 10th page, and then they're gone. And that's the way it is. That's the way it is for everyone in this country.
Look, I've been thinking about it lately, and I think it's time for me to move on. I think my days of stand-up are nearing an end, really.
Personally, I want to go in another direction. With running a club, I've had enough of that. I mean, I had probably had enough of it 10 years ago.
So you've given up on the idea that it could?
No. But I've given up on the idea that it's worth it.
Has anyone been to a baby shower? They're the most fuckedest things in the world. Like, there's nothing that makes me want to rip my uterus out and stomp on it more than a baby shower, right? The shit these women talk to you about it's horrible. Like this one, I had no idea how to appropriately respond when a woman told me that her baby shit up its back. Did you know they could do that? I didn't. I had no idea they had that superpower. Like, all I wanted to say to this woman was like, what the fuck are you feeding your baby? Like, what? So all I managed to spit out was, lucky babies have small backs. Like, ooh. Anyway, guys, that's my time. Thank you so much.
I never saw comedy as a endpoint for me, being a professional comedian.
What's your job?
Day job? Admin. Something that pays the bills, because comedy does not pay the bills. I don't really feel the need to be on stage. I feel like I've tried it, I've done okay. I'm okay with where I'm at, where I've gotten to. I'm not interested in what the pro comic in this country looks like.
Like, a lot of comedians are very depressive people.
I do see people further down the road that look like a nightmare, and I can't guarantee that I'm not going to be them, and I don't even want to know.
They're cynical, they're often depressed, and I think somewhere along the line you can see that little glint of joy in the eye just like recedes. So they're just kind of walking zombies, and sometimes you see people who are like awesome headliners on stage and they're just churning it out.
I think most comics have some sort of disorder. There are some who don't, but many do. And I know one comic, I probably shouldn't say his name, who's fairly well known in the Australian industry. He was on antidepressants, but he went off of them because it took the edge away. So he'd rather be depressed all week, so the 20 minutes that he's on stage, he's having a wonderful time.
You're going to meet a lot of fucked up units doing comedy. You're going to meet a lot of strange people.
There's so much neuroses, so much depression, bipolar, ego, narcissism.
The people that have been doing it for 20 odd years, they just hate life and, really depressive.
And some of these people are dicks.
There are a lot of fun people, but then there's a lot of people that are a surprise when you get off stage. They're either introverts or do you know what I mean? They're very competitive.
It is getting a whole lot of people from different backgrounds together with one common goal, which is to make it, and it can be cutthroat.
I do think that comics, there's a certain undercurrent of competition with each other in the scene in Australia because there's not enough gigs to support the industry. There's not enough money in it.
It's small. Australia is small.
Everyone's chasing something. Do you know what I mean? Like seagulls trying to hunt down a chip, but a non-existent one, and they're all fighty. I thought it would be it's all high-fiving in the green room, getting drunk, take our shirts off and just sort of hug, but it never happens. It's like 30-year-old bald men that now acting like 14-year-olds. You find your name written in the toilets, Wolf's the slut, and you're like, what's going on? You get a good joke and you can sort of see one or two people slink off, pissed off, with keys, gonna try find your car in the car park. Scratch, give up.
The way I see it is three things. It's population density. There's not enough people in this country to give a shit. When you're in a country of 50 million, even if there's 2 million people into comedy, that's enough to sustain it. Here, there's not enough people. Two, it's a happiness quota. People in this country aren't miserable. People love comedy in America and London because they're miserable. They need to laugh. Here, it's like, And three, it's because to make it in this country, you have to appeal to a widest possible demographic. To get on Channel 10, you have to appeal to the 7-year-olds and the 70-year-olds, which in of itself results in bland, nothing comedy, because you can't say anything.
I think if you look at the Australian media as a whole, they're not taking any risk. Like, they're just serving up the crap that they know works. Like, Sam Simmons' show, Problems, was hilarious. It was fucking genius. And they let him make 3 episodes of it. And
I don't think ABC are taking risks because they want to keep their audience, who are all dying anyway because they're all old. They don't want to alienate their audience. And I've heard that firsthand. ABC, I think, have lost their way with comedy. ABC will put on something that's tried or true overseas and then they'll play it here.
There are so many talented people here doing amazing stuff and they never get seen.
In America, it's like, well, if you're not suitable to be on NBC or CBS, you can go to the Comedy Central, or you can go to here, or you know what I mean? There's avenues. The simple fact is that there is no avenue for people to get their shit out because there's only 3 fucking networks. They have locked down on what is deemed acceptable in comedy.
There's people that aren't famous that are just as talented, if not more talented than the people at the top, but networks won't put them on.
The thing that I think the general public doesn't understand is that there are multiple genres of comedy. There's as many different genres of comedy as there are of music, but from the public perception, there's one brand of comedy, which is set up, punchline, punchline, punchline. And it's not even, you don't even have to have a funny joke. All you got to do is say it like it's a funny joke. And as long as your voice inflects upwards at the end, people will laugh. And that's the way comedy is in this country.
Australian audiences don't take a risk. They're not going to go and watch a dude who they don't know if they can buy a ticket to Will Anderson.
Unless you're on TV or like prominent on radio or something, you're not important or you're not good enough.
I reckon that it's a reflection of the audience in Australia, that they're very conservative. Despite the fact that there's this culture, laid back larrikins, for some reason they don't really go for that on stage.
Maybe we ought to look at ourselves and go, why aren't we recognising more comedians? It seems to be the same crop that people know, and maybe competition's a good thing.
I think what sucks about comedy in this country and in this city is actually what makes comedy in this city so great. The fact that there are so few opportunities means that the majority of people that are doing it because they love doing it, and they're not afraid to have singular voices. They're not afraid to just be themselves on stage. I saw, when I came back from London, my first night back in Sydney, I went to a comedy night and I saw more unique, powerful voices in that one night than I did in my entire 8 months in London. Because everyone in London is competing for that chain of get on the panel shows, get into the O2 Arena, if I just act like Russell Brand, I'll be famous. Whereas here everyone's like, I'm not going to be famous, so fuck it, I'm just going to be me. And that's why you've got you know, your Shane Mathesons and your Nick Sons and all these amazing comics, you know, that are just being themselves.
It's good to have those dating apps. Has anyone met their partner on a dating... What, those? You two? Oh, cool. Nerds. Yeah, it's, no, they're pretty handy, those things. I remember I lost my dad in the supermarket once, and found him on Grindr. Yeah.
My favourite comedians are all Australians. I don't like seeing foreign comics coming here stealing our comic jobs. It's just how I am. That's why I never watched Jim Owen. So why can't an Australian bloke be putting on a fake Irish accent doing those same jokes? Don't understand it.
My name's Guy. I've been following comedy since the 80s, from the old Harold Park days. Basically, it takes your mind out of other things in life. So if you're depressed and you like stand-up comedy, it takes your mind. That's the good thing about it. I've never been a comedian. Jack Barrett, Rash Ryder, Gary Eck, Greg Fleet, Dave Jury. Honestly, I don't want to become too big because then you have to pay big money for them. Then they won't do gigs like this. Now, I respect people like Berner, Tommy Dean, the two... Reece Nicholson and the other fellow, Tom Ballard. They're willing to do big and to do both. That's what I like. I don't mind them being big company. A lot of comedians like Akram Saleh and Carl Barron have become too big for these shoes. And unfortunately, and I like those comedians, and even Tahir, the agent drives them. That's the fact of the matter. They won't admit this. And you would tell them to do a gig in the pubs and or clubs, whatever. They want big money. They up themselves. The agent drives them. That's the sad thing about the big, when you become too big. I don't mind them doing big venues and corporates, but they've forgotten their roots, and that's what I'm more for the grassroots comedy. I respect people like that.
Yeah, I don't really have an exit strategy or even really a plan B.
This is my peak. This fucking documentary is my peak.
Yeah, I think there probably is a finish line for me, but I probably won't know I'm at it until I'm there.
I've known people that have walked away from stand-up at the peak of their careers, or at a crossroads, or something like that.
Look, I've given up so many drugs in my life, I can give up the rush. I'm pretty experienced at it.
No, man, this is a sad thing. I'm going to be here, and that's what's so depressing about this whole situation, because I am just going to actually be at these bars in 30 years, and it's going to be fucking horrible. I'll wheel in and they'll go look, it's going to break his heart if you don't put him on.
I don't know if I'll be doing it forever, who knows, but for now I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
I don't know what success is in this particular industry, and that's part of the joy and part of the excitement of the journey, is figuring out what on earth that means.
It's something that you have to define yourself, and I don't really let anyone else's measure of success be what I measure myself by.
There was a situation a little while ago where I had a really, really sick nephew, and there's a baby, and I got some bad news from the family right before I had to go on. And it was just a case of, okay, well, I'm going to go out and I'm going to be as funny as I can be. It was almost like a victory over the sad shit that was going on.
But there's all these jingles in your head. Like, my grandma passed away. I can't even remember her face. But I know the jingle to Windscreen O'Brien. Oh, O'Brien, where's Granny's face?
I'm hoping that it will be something that I can do for a long time, or that it will lead me somewhere that I'll also enjoy. I mean, I don't know. I'm just having fun at the moment, and we'll see where it goes.
Well, my plan B, I'm studying to be a veterinary nurse at the moment. I've always preferred the company of animals to people. In terms of comedy, man, I'll always do it. There's no way out. When you're this far in, there's no way out. There really isn't. I remember one time I quit and I'm like, that's it, I'm done. And then literally, found myself on stage one night, not even remembering how I'd got to the venue and how I'd got the gig. All of a sudden I'm there again, and it's just like, what? I don't even, ugh.
It's just something that you're called to do, and then you just can't stop?
I don't think so. I think I'll just keep doing it till I'm old and grey, which, like next week. I opened up for a show in Melbourne. There was like 13 or 1400 people there. And when I started getting into the routine, the first 20 seconds, and you can hear this laughter because the tears of the levels of the audience, because it was 4 levels, just come and smash you, slap you across the head. Oh, I'll never forget it. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I'll never forget it. Just that roar, that laugh. And it felt like all those years of going on the train, risking my life on the train from the city to the west was worth it. You know, that's what it felt like.
I started stand-up because I wanted to try it to see if it was something I could do. I was so fearful of public speaking. Now I can public speak, I can write. I've discovered this whole other side of myself that I never knew I could be creative.
And then when I started stand-up comedy, I was just like, oh wow. Like I really, really blew myself away saying, I can do this and I don't really care what anyone thinks or says, and, you know, just doesn't faze me. Really thick skin now and doesn't, you know, like someone could say really something, you know, nasty to me. It does not, you know, water off a duck's back, it doesn't worry me in the slightest. And I didn't realise how strong I was. Like I'm actually quite a strong person, I didn't realise.
The main thing I get out from being on stage is it's the most normal I ever feel. Like it's the most accepted, validated, loved, appreciated and engaged that I ever feel.
Before I did comedy, I would yell at people on the train for no reason, you know? People would get in my way and I'd fuck you! You know, fucking cunt! You know, now I don't do that anymore. My anger, you know, I laugh at people like, oh, you're so angry. It's like, man, you didn't know me 10 years ago. I was fucking like losing my shit at the drop of a hat, you know. I was the guy that would tear fucking doors off hinges and punch holes through walls, like fucking angry.
It's such a humanistic connection as well. You know, you're looking at people and you're looking them in the eye and you're speaking to them. And I mean, it's if you wanted to be really like scientific about it, I've just fucking fed you your own happy chemicals. Like, not just, like I've unlocked a part of your brain that is giving you the good shit, and kudos to me. And have a lovely time on your completely organic ecstasy.
I've got a lot of insecurities, and it's like that internal monologue, that hater that constantly doubts you. It's also a battle between you and them. It's like the final silencing of that person, conquering your own fears.
It transcends just, oh, I went out for a good night. I had a good laugh. You know, there's something more to comedy than just a laugh. The best comedy for me has been, you know, and Hicks did this for me when I was 17. It was that thing of sitting there and going, holy fuck, I thought I was the only guy that thought like that. And it was actually, you know, all my friends that were telling me all along that, oh, you're weird, you think too much. They were wrong. They're the fucking idiots, because there's actually this whole community of people that do think like that. You know, and I think that's the real fucking gift that comedy can bring. Oh, how philosophically.
There's this feeling where you have to do a spot, right? And you get up and you're doing your spot, and then the light flashes to tell you you've got to get off in a minute. Sometimes you do a spot and you walk on stage and you open your mouth, and the next thing you know is the light is flashing. And it's sort of, it doesn't feel like a normal measurement of time, but the time in between opening your mouth and the light going off, and you forget about absolutely everything else, and all you're doing is telling jokes and getting off on watching people's response to your jokes. That's the taste. That's why I do it. It's to just get lost in that stage time.
I've been thinking long and hard about what I should do. Get a job, buy a house, I could be just like you. Makes no difference either way, we'll all end up the same. Oh, just a passing phase that